Hey there everybody, today something a little bit different. In the tradition of riding inappropriate bikes to places, today I'm going to be taking this guy. This is the Blacksnow EDC Mark II, and we're going to go up the popular roadie climb of Els Angels. Also testing out this DJI Action 5 and wireless mic tethering. This is going to be the second mini cargo bike I've taken up Els. The first one was the monopole. We'll see how this one does. Speaking of cargo bikes, check out this one. Nice. There's other bike weirdos somewhere in Girona. Okay, we're on a little bit more trail until we get to the base of the climb. So I've ridden this bike in town a fair bit, picking up packages and stuff, but this will be the kind of first ride of any consequence in climbing. So hopefully it's geared low enough for me. Let's get to the base of the climb. We'll talk more there. Hey, funny seeing you here. Where are you guys going?
Up Els?
Us too.
Yeah.
I might be a little slow on this thing, so.
Oh,
A new cargo bike.
look at that.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Give it to Russ to like take the weird one out.
So here we'll get weird. Okay, so this is the base of the climb. We just ran into some friends, and we'll see if this is a dumb idea or a bad idea. All right, past the initial steep bit. What's that?
Probably doing some more car rallying.
Oh, okay, it looks like our friends peeled off to take the dirt way. We're gonna continue on the paved. Definitely a little bit more work than the gravel bike. Okay, 1 kilometer, 10 more to go. One of the other things I'm testing out is this thing. It's called the Monster Munch Bag. And it's a ginormous like stem bag. And it's actually pretty cool. You can stick your selfie stick here, all your self-filming things. Cargo bike is set up 2x-Qs. 2K mark, 9 more to go. At least it's not raining today. All right, so we're coming up to this nice switchback here. There's a really cool looking cafe off to the left, which I haven't stopped at yet. We'll better look at it over there. So interesting sign. They do road closures on occasion for cars, which I think is hilarious because whenever there's a cycling event, usually there's a bunch of signs like, what about the neighbors? This road's for everyone, but you know, shut down for a car rally. And yeah, here they are setting up for the rally. Kilometer 3, a little bit of a flat spot. So this is one of the classic climbs of Girona. Actually surprised it's not more busy. Might be the weather putting some people off, but peak season should be in a couple weeks. It's just like trains and trains of cyclists. People do tend to ride fairly late, and we usually see most of them on the way down coming up. Whee! It'll be interesting to see how this bike handles on the downhill. Oh, come on, we can catch him. Whew. Kilómetro 8. Me falta 4 más kilómetros. Is that the correct usage? You guys probably can't see it, but up at the top of the hill is where we're going. Almost there. I feel like almost should be in air quotes. There's still a couple Ks. Kilometer 9 means you've got 2 and some change. Kilometer 10 means 1 more. So far, this bike actually climbs okay. It's a little high traily, but with these handlebars, they're wide, really let you control the wheel flop. I think that's kind of key for a bike like this. Here we are at the top. All right, so we're at the top, and there is a party. I gotta take the picture of the bike at the sign. Here we go. Yay, made it.
So we kind of get an idea of where we want to go.
All right, we're about to head down, and it's an absolute party up here. Let's see. All right, almost. Here we go. So many cyclists. That was a lot of people up there. Whee! Okay, so just came off the descent. First, a substantial ride with the bike is pretty good. I think I'm gonna continue this video in the studio, and I'll go over the bike and give you guys other impressions. So see you there. I've gotten back from the ride, showered and changed. Let's talk about this bike a little bit. Some of the things I've noticed on this ride, some things about the build. So first off, for the drivetrain, I am running a 2x-Qs. I really come to like this front derailleur here. It is, I believe this is 40 to 26, and this is 11 to 38. One of the interesting things you have to contend with when you're running a smaller wheel is, of course, the derailleur, hitting the ground. So as much as I'd like to run the 80-20 Qs for a derailleur and have like a really wide range cassette, that's kind of less feasible. One big reason is the chain hitting the kickstand. Usually, not a huge fan of kickstands in general, but for a cargo bike, absolutely necessary in my opinion for ease of loading and everything. And this is something that you don't run into unless you're running a double-legged kickstand where it kind of splits here. There are some where the 2 legs are on the left side, so you can bypass this whole issue, but they're not as stable in my opinion. So yeah, kind of a quirky problem. Another thing here, since I'm running a front derailleur, it's got to clamp onto the seat tube, and where I need to clamp it on is exactly where the water bottle boss is. So I had to get creative and use this eccentric shim and position it so there's a gap and it goes over the bottle boss. Works good, works great. Other than that, fairly straightforward. This is a 26" by 2.2. They actually recommend using a 27.5 inch wheel. Don't have that, so I think what I'm gonna do is just order like a bigger tire, and just to get me a little bit more clearance off the ground. Wax chain, KMC, Ass Savers wind wing fender, Roval carbon seat posts. A little bit of a bummer with this because that does mean I only have 1 water bottle cage, and it's actually fairly low, so a little bit tricky to reach when riding. I mean, you get used to it, but it's not in the same spot as you would say like a road bike. This is something kind of interesting. This is a stem bag by RecceWorks. They sent a couple bags to test out, And this, it's fairly simple, but a couple of really nice things. First thing is this. I undid it, but you know how like some stem bags use a Velcro to attach to a fork leg or the head tube, which I absolutely dislike. This uses elastic cordage for one, so +1 for that. And how they executed it is, I've never seen this bit of hardware before, but basically you wrap it around said hardware, and then this clips back onto the cordage and holds it in place. So I thought this was pretty genius. In general, this will fit like a water bottle. I've got a selfie stick here, and it's got like this added pouch so you can put more stuff. When we were riding, I'd put the camera in here and just take it out. And again, fairly easy operation. A little bit easier to open than to close with one hand. How do I close this? There you go. It's possible. Grips are by Ergon. Handlebar is the PBJ bar by Sklar, and I absolutely love these bars. They have I forget how many degrees of sweep back, 25-ish. I don't know. I'll put it up on the screen, but it's enough to shorten kind of the reach of the bike, but still give you good control. I feel like when they sweep back too far, you're kind of steering into your knees, and it's not great for like kind of technical riding. Not that I'm taking this on mountain bike trails, but this is a good all-rounder bar. It comes in black and silver. I've got a silver one on the Sour that I'm testing, but I'll do a little bit more in-depth video on the bars. So if you caught my impromptu live stream, I talked a little bit about the rack. It's pretty cool. It's silver. You can see it there. It's a little bit obscured by the Euro crate. My biggest complaint with the rack is the use of these smaller M5 bolts. So basically the same kind of bolts that you would use for water bottle cage. I think these should be beefed up to like a M6. Something a little bit herkier, similar to the front rack on the bomb track I was reviewing. But otherwise, works great. One thing about the design of this bike, it's not level, but if it were level, you could tell like everything's pretty slack. So for me, that means I have to shove the saddle fairly far forward to get it where I want relative to the crankset. It also just takes a little bit getting used to, because this is like a higher trail steering. So a little bit more like a mountain bike, less like a Brompton. And it just takes some getting used to. I'm not sure if I love it or if I prefer like the lower trail approach. It's something you can adjust to. You know, I don't want to make it sound like it's the end of the world. It's just a matter of preference. I mean, clearly I rode it today without too much of a problem. But yeah, digging it. I think in terms of like a mini cargo bike that looks good, like I've never seen one with like a swooping top tube. Paint looks good. I mean, if you look at the welds, super tight, all of them, no lumps. The welds, from what I can see, are pretty good. So yeah, the bike comes in at just over 30-ish pounds. Pretty stoked on it. I'm very tempted to take it on a tour, or I want to take it on a tour to the coast. It's just, we've been kind of fighting the weather. One quirky thing. So you'll notice this is the steer tube. It's super long. I think the shop I brought it to didn't fit on the correct crown race. They use one with a split, but it doesn't seat exactly perfectly. So I ordered the correct crown race, and one issue is, since the steer tube is so long, if you have a crown race setter with a closed cap, you can't do it. So I ordered two. I'm gonna try splitting it with a saw, and hopefully don't get any burrs and I can install it, or I'll just slam on the new one. The reason I bring that up is that it feels a little stiff, it feels a little slow in steering, and I'm attributing that to like the incorrect crown race and how it compresses the bearings and everything. That's another big reason why I haven't been rushing out the door to take it on the tour yet. I want to get this thing all sorted. So far I'm digging it. Definitely look for a longer term review. Also, I'm reviewing this thing. So I've been shooting this entire video with the DJI Action 5, and the wireless transmitter on the ride, and now it's a pretty cool system. But look for a review on this as in the camera and the mic, later on this month. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Join us on Patreon. It's the best way to do it. It lets us do these goofy adventures. Speaking of which, end of the month, we're going to Dusseldorf for Cycle World. Just learned about it. Looks like a fun show. And then next month, we are going to Bespoke in Manchester. And it's literally all made possible by you guys supporting the channel on Patreon and picking up some stickers. So check out the links, and as always, keep the supple side down.